All right. Welcome back everyone. Dito sa latest episode ng Deep Dive. As promised, kasama natin yet another legal luminary. Just the other day, kasama po natin si Attorney Conti kung saan pinag-usapan natin yung interim release or potential interim release ni Digong because from our sources, I don't know what you're hearing, Justice Carpio, but from our sources, a certain Southern European country may be after all open to hosting Duterte. Obviously, we want to talk about also Sara Duterte, both the ombudsman aspect of this and also her filing for dismissal kanina lang of the trial, impeachment trial. So, pag-usapan natin this whole range of issues while we're also waiting for updates or developments kung tataas pa lalo yung presyo ng petrol kasi mukhang things are getting kind of crazy and worrying. Justice, before we go to Sara Duterte, can we talk about before we go to Duterte Youth, let's talk about Duterte Old. Have you heard something about the interim release issue? Because I heard baka daw may isang Southern European country na open eh.
Again.
I heard na baka there's a Southern European country na hindi pala totally fake news na baka may isang bansa sa Southern Europe daw na baka willing daw mag-host kay Digong for interim release. Have you heard anything about that on your
Well,
side?
I know that there are two countries that usually host interim
Mm.
releases, Belgium and no, the Netherlands rather, and Argentina. Sila
Argentina.
palagi, yeah.
Mm.
Those are the two countries. So if ever, assuming that the court will grant interim release, it will be in the Netherlands because
Mm.
it's andyan lang. It will not be too much of an inconvenience kasi pwede siya dalhin sa ICC anytime.
Well, I'll disagree with you that it's not too much of inconvenience. The last time I checked, lahat ng mga kapitbahay dun sa detention area ay galit na galit. Pati kami mga journalists, gumaganon sila, oh, tapos sinasara nila yung kortina.
Yeah.
I think if you're... Sige,
I
Justice.
think compared to bringing him out of the country, it's really very impractical to bring him out of the country, out of Netherlands. And then every time there's a trial, he will have to be brought back.
Yun nga, it's like 2 hours flight if it's Portugal or Spain or some Southern European country. No, I was thinking also about that. But I don't know if you're Netherlands, if you're any community who could be hosting it, ngayon pala magrereklamo kayo, please don't bring not in my backyard, 'di ba? Yung ganun, not in my backyard. Yun ang gagawin nila considering everything they have. But just to be clear, what are the risks if ever bigyan siya ng interim release or what could be the basis? Is it because he may have serious heart health conditions, baka yun daw yung potential basis.
Well, the most important thing is you can be granted interim relief if release if you are not a flight risk. Yun yung number one. Eh. Can you hold on? No? I think
Yeah, yeah.
I have a
I think
problem.
ito na naman yung ano natin, yung
Uh,
copyright natin, Justice. Let me. Yeah, so, Justice, we were talking about this. Your sense is it has to be somewhere near para convenience-wise, hindi siya complicated and all. My sense is kawawa naman yung sino mag-host na ibang community dyan sa Netherlands, including yung mga Dutch. Kasi yung mga Dutch, very, ano sila, diba? Very prim and proper and very, ay nila na maingay, basically. Yun lang. So, but good for cardboard, no? Yung mga tarpaulin,
yeah.
cardboard. May museum na yata sila, Justice. No, but seriously speaking, Justice, what could be the risks if ever bigyan siya ng interim
Well,
release? Or
actually,
what conditions should be there na para hindi risky?
yeah, the most important thing is you are not a flight risk. And in the past, the ICC granted interim release to those who voluntarily surrendered. Because if you voluntarily surrendered, you're not a flight risk. But Duterte did not voluntarily surrender, and up to now he refuses to acknowledge the jurisdiction of the ICC. So he's really a flight risk. Plus the fact that he has the means to take a plane because he has friends who has planes, or he has funds to charter a plane. So yung flight risk is there. Second, he never recognized the jurisdiction of the ICC. So how can you release somebody who doesn't even recognize your jurisdiction? Talagang tatakbo yan. Third, he is a danger to the witnesses and to the victims, the families of the victims, because he he in fact won again as mayor, so he's still very active in politics. Second, he and also he stated under oath before the Senate and the House that he organized the Davao Death Squad. So, and he said, I am responsible for all the extrajudicial killings. He took full responsibility. And when he was president, he threatened to harm the ICC investigators who would come to the Philippines. So there's really no basis in granting interim uh, release. I think there's no uh, reasonable ground or any ground at all, valid reason to grant him that. So I think the victims, the families of victims will oppose it, and I hope the prosecution will also oppose it.
Um, that's why maybe sinabi niya that he will not continue to commit
Yeah,
crime.
and that's an admission of guilt.
Right. I mean, that was, I mean, maybe that was reassuring, no? Like, at least, ano, transparently, ano siya, criminal or something siya. But you're right. And, okay, let's say Justice nag-grant yung interim release. What conditions should be there? Make sure na hindi siya pwede mag-communicate with people who could, do crazy stuff.
Yes, yeah, because
Make sure na, yeah.
he can always give instructions to his death squad because the death squad is still there, no? So there's really no reason to grant him interim release.
And then paano kung I mean, should the facility be protected? And paano kung dadagsaan ng mga followers niya, yung mga Cardboard Republic followers? Kasi I mean, love na love siya, 'di ba? Baka yung mga iba na pwede ma-implicate, paano kung pwede siyang unahin para lang hindi sila ma-implicate? I mean, there's also that aspect, 'di ba? From a security standpoint.
Yeah, there's so many complications. The, as you said, is those who are co-accused with him or maybe accused with him uh, would probably not be happy about it. So I really don't see any valid ground to grant interim release.
Although I would say Justice, siguro hingi sila ng malaking bail and then magkakaalaman kung mayaman na mayaman talaga sila. No? Lagay mo kunyari, 5 billion pesos bail. Tapos, sure, cash! Ayan. Di ba? Dapat ganun ang gawin ng ICC. Itatrap sila, no? Entrapment. Para malaman natin gano'ng kayaman si Digong. Di ba? Hindi ako flight risk. I'm willing to put 5 billion pesos na gano'n. Hindi kaya pwede gawin ng ICC yan, Justice. Entrapment.
Well, normally, the bail must be reasonable. So I I don't think that that should be the case. He should just remain in detention in The Hague.
The now Justice, let's talk about Duterte Young naman. Kasi Duterte Youth Band na eh. So Duterte Young naman tayo ngayon. Si Sara, so kanina lang she filed a motion to basically dismiss it. So that means ayan na naman, kutspa, bola, bragadocho lang yung bloodbath niya. Yung pala takot, parang mukhang takot siya sa trial. Having said that, it looks like it's not just the Senate she's hoping to protect her or shield her, assuming Jesus Cordero and the gang will be there. Nor is she just relying on her defense team. Ilang mga lawyers ng Fortune firm? 16 ba? But she's also allegedly, and this is what attorney Leila De Lima, Representative Leila De Lima was saying the other day, maybe they're also looking at an 11th hour sabotage via Ombudsman office. Can we expound on that? What is the jurisprudential basis? What is the legal basis for a potential Ombudsman sabotage? And what are the scenarios here and how to avoid the worst case scenario, Justice?
Well, the Constitution says the sole power to impeach is Congress. It rests, but power resides in Congress. The sole power to impeach. So any impeachment case filed by any government official or any citizen must pass through Congress because it's only Congress that can file the articles of impeachment with the Senate. Now, despite that statement in the Constitution, Congress authorized the Ombudsman to conduct an investigation of impeachable officials. And it says here, only uh, for the purpose of filing a verified complaint for impeachment. So the ombudsman is authorized by law because the sole power rests with Congress, but to investigate whether there is probable cause, Congress has authorized the ombudsman to conduct also an investigation. So the ombudsman can conduct an investigation, but submit its findings to the Senate, to the House, because that is a delegated power of the House, and it's only the House that can file the articles of impeachment in the Senate. So the ombudsman, okay, you are authorized by law, by Congress. You've been granted the delegated authority to conduct an investigation whether there are grounds to file an impeachment case against an impeachable officer. So if ombudsman now conducts an investigation, the results will be submitted to the House. Hindi diretso sa Senate eh. Now, having said that, the Congress gave that authority to the to the ombudsman, but with this exception. The office of the ombudsman may not conduct the necessary investigation if it believes that if it believes that the complainant, that is the House, has an adequate remedy in another judicial or quasi-judicial body. So the ombudsman cannot conduct an investigation of an impeachable officer if the House has another remedy. In the case of the situation of VP Sara, the House already submitted it to the articles of impeachment. So the the ombudsman, who is just empowered, an authorized agent of the House to conduct an investigation, cannot
Deputize.
reverse the House. The House
Right.
already decided eh. So my position
Cannot
is,
countermand the House because
yeah,
it was just deputized by the House.
yeah,
Basically, auxiliary siya sa
it
process.
was just given a delegated authority, but the House itself exercised that authority. So the one who is given that authority cannot exercise that authority anymore because the House is the principal. Agent lang yung ombudsman. If the principal acted already, wala na. Hindi na pwede mag-act yung agent, di ba? So, because the House already acted on this very case, the same articles, the ombudsman has no more jurisdiction. That's my opinion. Because delegated authority lang ito. Because the Constitution says the power to file an impeachment case is an exclusive power of the House. So kahit anong gagawin ng ombudsman, hindi siya pwede dumiretso sa Senate and file the articles of impeachment. Dadaan siya sa House. But the House already acted. Dapat hindi na siya gumalaw because the House already acted precisely. So, klarong-klaro, he cannot act anymore if the House has already acted. So, that is the charter of the ombudsman. He cannot act anymore because his principal, the House, which is the exclusive power to file the articles of impeachment, already acted. Hindi niya pwede i-reverse.
The train has left already, yeah, and the principal has already made a
Yeah.
decision, has moved on. Now, having said that, Justice, so that is the sensible interpretation of the jurisdiction or lack thereof of ombudsman in this case. Um, but so what is the basis, or okay, what is the invoked basis for ombudsman to just in case come and allegedly sabotage this? Ano bang angulo nila? Anong
Well,
basis na daw nila? Yeah.
because what he will do, he will conduct an investigation and then say, there is no ground to impeach. Sara will use that. Although the ombudsman, the ombudsman will submit those findings and recommendation to the House. The House will say, tapos na kami dyan. You cannot file that. But then Sara will have a document to bring to the Senate, and or even the Ombudsman already said there is no ground. So panggulo yon. But really, the Ombudsman has no jurisdiction. He's not acting properly if he will continue with the investigation.
So basically, pwede Ozron Saboteur dito and basically working beyond his mandate, right? So what could be the remedy or countermeasures constitutional? Could you hold the ombudsman accountable after he steps down? Because he's going to step down very soon, right? This is like 11th hour and 59th minute, di ba? Like in coming weeks, magkakaroon dapat tayo ng bagong ombudsman. Could there be a
Well,
retroactive case filed against him if he's deemed to be abusing his power?
well, the first thing is the House should inform the Ombudsman that you are not supposed to conduct an investigation anymore because we have already decided on this matter. You are just our agent here because the exclusive power is with the House pursuant to the Constitution.
Paras pala tayo may Cold's Justice. Baka naghawaan tayo over Zoom. Meron siguro digital virus. But Justice, thank you again for giving your time. No, paras tayo under the weather. So I'll not stretch this too much. But I'm just wondering, pwede bang pananagutan yung ombudsman kung nag-abuso siya ng power niya? Is there any remedy there just in case to make
Yes,
him think twice? Yeah.
any of the prosecutors can go to the Supreme Court to ask the Supreme Court to direct the Ombudsman to stop the investigation.
And you're
And
optimistic.
there's a very strong ground. Nakalagay doon sa charter niya eh. He may not continue with the investigation if the complainant, the House, has another remedy. In fact, nag-file na yung House eh. Tapos na eh.
So basically, he cannot countermand or supersede or
Yeah.
basically sabotage, right?
Kasi
Yeah.
ano lang siya eh, delegate, was just delegated that authority by the House.
Deputized lang siya. Justice, okay, so again, we're going back to the Supreme Court again. So ideally, Justice, what should the Supreme Court do for the 20th Congress para sa sigurado in this trial will happen? Are you also of the view that the Supreme Court should be part of the trial? Although some would say this is vice president, not the president, so it's not clear. And what are your real expectation, realistic expectation, given the reality of the balance of power? I don't know, whatever, or balance of opinion rather, among your former colleagues, John, sa Supreme Court. What are the
Well,
scenarios?
first of all, on that, on the matter of who will preside, it's very clear in the deliberations of the Constitutional Commission that the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court will preside only if it is the president who is being impeached. All other impeachment cases will be presided over by the Senate President. Claro yon. They clarified that provision. So I don't think there's any dispute on that.
And you're optimistic that the Supreme Court will swiftly enough, I don't know, not intervene, but nudge this in the right direction, meaning to make sure that the trial, kasi obviously Sarah is gonna do all sorts of pusit games, right? Pull all the levers of influence she may have in different branches of the state. Not to mention, yes, paalis na yung iba, pero nandun pa rin yung ibang membro ng the great, the amazing 18 who basically shielded her in the outgoing Congress. I mean, what are you looking at in terms of how Supreme Court can make sure na basically hindi pa ulit-ulit na Chizo Escudero style or hindi mangyari yung sinasabi ni Tolentino na de facto dismissal?
Well, there are two issues that are crucial in the Supreme Court pending already. One, whether there will be a crossover, whether the trial can cross over to the next Senate. And I believe it can cross over because in the provision of the Constitution on impeachment, nakalagay doon, a, a public official shall be accountable to the people at all times. So the accountability cannot be extinguished by legislative calendars. That's the first issue. The second issue is the 1 year bar. Because in the answer of Sarah now, she raised this vigorously that the 1 year bar has been breached. Now, the 1 year bar, per the previous decisions of the Supreme Court, starts when the plenary has referred, when once a plenary refers the articles, the impeachment complaint to the Committee on Justice. That has never happened with respect to the first three because the Secretary General did not did not forward the impeachment complaints to the plenary, and the plenary wasn't able to refer it to the Committee on Justice. So if you count the 1 year period, the 1 year period has not run yet. So pwede pa humabol yung fourth uh, impeachment complaint that was signed by more than a third of the
Oo nga pala, no? Yeah, there's...
congressman. However, sinasabi nila ni the lawyers of Sara are saying that the act of the Secretary General in not referring the impeachment complaints to the plenary violated their rules, the impeachment rules, because it says there the Secretary General should immediately refer the impeachment complaint. Andito na naman tayo. What is the meaning
Exactly.
of immediately? So,
Wait na naman.
so does it mean forthwith or does it mean as soon as reasonably possible? So, depende. But claro that the 1 year ban starts when the plenary refers the impeachment complaint to the Committee on Justice. That has not happened because the Secretary General has not forwarded the impeachment complaint to the plenary. So the 1 year period has not run. Now, is the act of the Secretary General binding on the plenary? I mean, can you fault the plenary because the Secretary General sat on the impeachment complaint longer than necessary? So this will be decided by the Supreme Court.
And Justice, how do you assess? Kasi since last time we talked, hindi na si Chus Escudero yung nag-trending that much. Alam mo, ang nagte-trending ngayon, yung spokesperson ng Senate. Well, just when we thought we have seen the bottom of the that openly accused siya as basically lawyering daw for Sara rather than actually just being the spokesman for the trial body that should be convened by the Senate. What is your read of that angle of criticism? I have no idea who is this person. Ginugol lang namin isang araw. Sino to? Tinanong ko sa mga ibang abogado, kilala na ba to? Sino ba yan? Parang PR lang daw tong taong to eh. Parang, hindi naman ba attorney level PR, pero, I don't know, Justice, is that person lawyering for Sarah? What's going...
Well, I do not know. But if you read the answer of the lawyers of Sara that they filed today, they raised the very issue that Senator Bato and all the other senators raised. Exactly the same. The 1 year bar.
So,
So
attorney nga,
talagang si
attorney.
Bato and the other senators lawyered for Sara, pretty much inunahan nila and
Talagang,
Sara just so
copy-paste.
they
So,
they
apparently
they
nga, so si Bato
argued.
can work in the firm? Does that mean Bato can work in the Fortune firm? Kasi mukhang parasang legal analysis nila.
Pwede siya maging consultant. So as I said, it should have been the lawyers of Sara who should have raised the 1 year bar, and they in fact raised it. They practically spent about 80% of their answer on this. Ito yung kanilang ano eh. This is their strongest argument. Kaya lang pre-empt ni Bato. Sabi na Bato, ako na mag-argue.
Parang, Justice, naalala mo yung yung hearing ni Bato noon with si ano ba yun, yung taga-PIDEA daw na bangag daw yung president, si Jonathan Morales. Naalala mo yan? And then, oh, parang feeling mo scripted siya and then it got out of control yung nagtanong si Jinggoy, Mr. Chair, why should we trust this person? Sabi niya, basta ako, hindi ako convicted. Hindi katulad ng Butinas. Tapos yung mukha ni Bato, no, 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 no. Hindi yun ang pinag-usapan na. Parang gano'n na, wow, Jonathan, Jonathan Morales. Parang, may pagkaganon sila, Justice, no? Hindi sila magaling mag-choreograph or mag-orchestrate ng mga... So basically, Batorni preempted the whole Fortune firm.
The most important defense of Sarah, preempt ni Bato.
Buti Bato pa, hindi si Robin Hood Padilla kasi interesting din yung mga, sabi nga ni Robin Hood, I don't know kung napakinggan niyo Justice or natiisan niyo, sabi niya, huwag natin sayangin yung ating talino sa initan to. Di ko na kaya. Sabi ko, ayoko na, let's pause this. I don't want more of this. But Justice, how are you feeling about the incoming Congress? Because obviously Tito Soto is positioning already as basically he wants to coup out Escudero, right? Hindi naman coup out, but Lacson is positioning. But interestingly, Erwin Tulfo, medyo maingay din siya, no? He's coming in very strongly saying, hindi, dapat tuloy ang trial. And interestingly, sabi ni Erwin, I don't know kung nagpaparinig siya, sabi niya, oo, magpapaturo ako sa mga veterano para hindi mukhang tanga. Di ba? Basically, sabi ni Erwin Tulfo. Was he making patama sa mga ibang kaibigan natin dyan?
Well, I don't know. Kasi ano eh, hinaluan ng politics eh. So, labo-labo na eh.
Damay-damay na. But are you slightly more optimistic about the next Senate president? You think there'll be change in lead? Again, this is very political. Wala pa si Ronald Llamas, so while he's not here, Justice. Ikaw, what is your gut feeling? Magkakaroon ng bagong Senate president? More momentum? Kasi obviously, papasok na si Mark Oleta, andyan pa rin si Bato and Bongo, papasok si Amy Marcos ulit. I mean, yeah. I mean, but given that, are you still slightly more optimistic there could be more momentum in the 20th Congress?
Well, because there will be a crossover and they cannot stop that, the trial will proceed. And nasa prosecutors na yan, if they can extract the evidence, yung ano, bank accounts, kasi that's another battleground. Kasi from the answer of Sarah today, sinabi nila, there was a gap in the service of Sarah. Kasi she became a private citizen 2012 to 2016 yata. So, hindi na pwede hingiin yung kanyang SALN. So they're now anticipating that issue.
Ah, already, like alam nila medyo. Sabi ko,
So
Justice, baka napanood talaga nila yung mga sinabi natin, kaya natakot sila, yayarin tayo dito. We're wargaming this for them for free, no? Um, I mean, we're almost done, Justice. I know you need to rest, in fairness. Thank you so much, Justice, for sticking with us today. I just want to understand also the Article 5, right? Yung parang conspiracy to commit crime or something. Could there be an ICC relevant angle or adjacent angle? Kasi could the EJK allegations also come into the articles of impeachment? Not only her term as DepEd Secretary and VP, but also her alleged involvement per Bato-Bato and Las Cañas. Could that also come in the impeachment? Or this is strictly about what she has performed? Kasi parang hindi rin clear sa akin eh. Like, is this impeachment purely about her VP situation? Although that's Article 7 basically. But could it also extend to her alleged involvement in extrajudicial killings? Pwede bang i-extend ba doon? Or you don't think so?
I have not read that portion carefully, no. So I don't know how that
Yun
can
nga, I
come
was
in.
surprised when I heard some folks saying that it could extend to that. Parang sabi ko, that's an interesting. Yun nga, like a couple of, lawyers who are following this, we had on this show, they were actually saying, yeah, it's possible. But I wanted to also clear you with that. I mean, constitutionally speaking, the impeachment will be strictly about the term she served as VP, or it could go beyond that as basically a public service record. Diba? Yung parang
Well,
importante yun, yung parameters, diba?
as I think as strictly as VP, because
Yeah.
when she was a mayor, she was not an impeachable officer. No, no. Ngayon lang siya naging impeachable officer. But the SALN would affect her present status also as VP if because that
Mm,
bank
right.
account, if she didn't include it in the present SALN, that's a violation again. No?
Yeah,
So
or yeah.
yeah, so that would be relevant, not for purposes of determining whether she reported correctly her assets.
Yeah, definitely that one. And also yung all the resibo dun sa Miggy Mango and all of that, medyo delikado din yan if you look at it then. You don't put too much stock into her openly threatening to, yun yung pinaka-article 1, di ba? Basically to threaten to assassinate you don't think that will be compelling enough as an article of impeachment
Yeah,
compared to Stalin issue?
that is serious, very serious, especially for politicians. I mean, we should not be, nobody should openly threaten somebody like that. I mean, because that will lead to a spiral of violence after violence in our politics. So we should really stay out of those of that kind of rhetoric or that kind of uh, of uh, uh, of statements. No.
Right. Pinaka-last, Justice, sabi nga ni nung isang hindi naman si Bator nito, yung isa, sabi niya hindi naman makakain yung impeachment na yan. Justice, why does it matter for there to be accountability on this issue? Because what we keep on hearing is that hindi naman makakain yan, focus muna tayo sa gut issues, or the usual thing you hear, ito, million lang, yung isa, billion. Although sabi ko, tingnan natin yung Salen, baka nga billion din. But why is this important? And if this trial is not conducted properly, meaning in accordance to our constitution, Justice, are we lurching towards a constitutional crisis or banana republic situation? Bakit to mahalaga? What are the stakes here, basically, Justice? And what should the citizens do to make sure we move in the right direction on this issue?
Well, there is a specific provision in the Constitution on impeachment, and there are just a handful of public officials who are impeachable. But aside from being criminally liable, they are also subject to impeachment to remove them from office immediately without waiting for any judgment in a criminal case because they're uh, they betray the public trust. In other words, they're a danger. Their presence, their holding that office is against public interest. That's why there is this very unique uh, mechanism to remove them from office. Very unique because it's the House itself that impeaches, and it's the Senate that will conduct the trial. And it's very unique. These are just a handful of people. The Supreme Court justices, Vice President, President, and the Constitution officers, sila lang. So, because you know they are in the public eye, and they must set an example of good governance, of high moral conduct in public life, na public office. So it's very important.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, if binoto mo isang tao na sumapak ng fiscal ba yan or something, among other things, I think maybe iba yung standards na ating because I keep on hearing binoto siya ng tao, hayaan nyo na tapusin niya yung term niya, di ba? You keep on hearing that and parang na-realize ko hindi yata na-realize yung ibang mga kababayan natin na may accountability dapat tayo, na meron tayong saligang batas na hindi pwede na popularity contest lang or dahil lang binoto siya ng maraming tao pwede niyang gawin kahit anong gusto niya. So I think we have serious public education challenge, to put it that way. Oh, ihabol ko lang, Justice. Finally, si Sara Duterte, may statement pala siya sa West Philippine Sea. Pero sablay. Di ba may sinabi siya something like, oh, tignan mo yung giyera ngayon sa gitnang silangan, kaya dapat nasa gitna tayo, wag tayong mag-provoke. Yung gano'n na naman, di ba? Finally, parang may sinabi siya sa West Philippine Sea, pero medyo papiyaw na supply. Did you see that, Justice? Like, for the
Yes,
first time
I
ever,
saw
she said
that. I
something.
read that. So sabi niya, we are friends with China and we are friends with the US, so we must stay in the middle, neutral. That's the independent foreign policy. That assumption is erroneous. First of all, China China is water cannoning our Coast Guard, our BIFAR vessels, and our fishermen. Binanggo nila yung Melchor Aquino Coast Guard natin, nabutas, I don't think a country that does that is our friend. Sabi niya, friend raw, equally, they are China and the US are equally our friends, so we must stay in the middle. If you consider a state that rams your Coast Guard vessels, rams your fishing vessels, prevents your fishermen from fishing in Scarborough Shoal, a place that they have fished for hundreds of years, is that country your friend? When sinabi ni Sarah, panalo na tayo sa arbitration. But is the country that lost, when that country says that arbitral award you won is a scrap of paper, we will not honor, we will not implement that. Is that country your friend pag ginawa kang ganyan? China sends its maritime militia vessels in the territorial sea of Pag-asa. Pag-asa is our island. It is our largest island that we occupy in the Spratlys. Pero every day andoon sila sa territorial sea, 12 nautical miles. Do you consider that kind of behavior, the behavior of a friend? So yung kanyang assumption, kaibigan natin yung China. Kaibigan ba natin ang China na
Baka kaibigan
sinasakop
nila.
80%?
Baka kaibigan nila.
80% of our exclusive economic zone, kaibigan ba natin yan? And you cannot, ang kaibigan mo, yung tumutulong sa inyo. Sabi niya, dapat we should not interfere in the quarrel of China and the US. We are not interfering. Ang ginagawa ng US, tinutulungan tayo to defend the West Philippine Sea. That is not the quarrel between China and the US. Quarrel natin yan between China and the Philippines, inaagaw ng China yung ating exclusive economic zone, tinutulungan tayo ng US. We are not interfering in the dispute between China and US. It is the US that is helping us against China. Bakit sasabihin niya na pag tumulong ang US sa atin, we are siding with the US against China in their geopolitical battle for supremacy? Nothing to do. Ang atin, yung what we are safeguarding are our maritime zones and island territories in the West Philippine Sea. Inaangkin. In fact, China is grabbing it. Kinuha na yung Mischief Reef, kinuha na yung Scarborough Shoal. We are just trying to defend what belongs to us. And sabi ni Sarah, we are already siding with the US. I don't see the logic. How can you say that China is our friend? Binutasan nga yung Coast Guard vessel natin eh.
Baka
So,
kaibigan nila. Baka kaibigan
parang
natin.
sab parang this is the extension of what President Duterte said. I love Xi Jinping. Kahit na sinasakop na, inaagaw na yung ating mga isla, mga isda natin, I love President Xi Jinping pa rin siya. Si Sara naman, China is my friend. Kahit na inaagaw ng China yung ating isla, ang ating karagatan, all our fish, oil, gas, inaagaw na, China is our friend. Yun ang position niya.
Yun ang unconditional love, Justice. It's called unconditional. Well, thank you for that, Justice Carp. I really appreciate. Ako na, to be honest, I'm really worried about rules-based international order. I mean, siguro sasabihin na, buti nga hindi tayo binabunker buster lang ng kung sino-sino. But my point is like from Russia to Middle East and West Philippines, I'm really worried about the erosion of the rules-based international order. And binalikan ko ulit yung favorite book natin, Justice, The Internationalist, no? Na how since 1926, right? Or 23, sorry.
Yeah.
We have come a long way in making sure war is not seen as a legitimate means of foreign policy or resolving problems or dictating on others. So, honestly, I'm very worried with how things are going, and I hope there'll be no quagmire or major war in the Middle East because pag mabog down na naman ang US dyan, ma-expose na naman tayo dito kasi China will have more leeway. So, that's why I'm saying people have to watch out also for that possibility down the road. And that's why sana matapos na itong gulo na to sa ating Pilipinas at the guilty people are held guilty. And sana we can come together, Justice. We need more unity. Not unity, but more unity, no? I say it's a
Yes,
dangerous and uncertain world.
yeah, I agree. We are at a critical juncture because the rules-based system is now being overturned, and it looks like that we have lost the champions of the rules-based international order, and we have to, because I just came uh, from uh, from KL and Singapore and Jakarta, and ganyan din ang thinking nila na we have to preserve the rules-based international order because as middle powers, that's how we protect ourselves. We don't have nuclear weapons. Otherwise, we'll have to develop our own nuclear weapons. And if everybody has nuclear weapons, talagang magkaka-nuclear war. All wars will be nuclear.
Yeah, I'm glad, Justice, you are talking to our friends in Malaysia and Indonesia. For them, all they see is Western hypocrisy and double standards. No, like, oh, you come and lecture us on Ukraine, Russia. Now you see what we're doing, ganun. So I think we have to talk more with our fellow ASEAN, fellow Asian countries, and we have to make sure. I don't care it's Western, Eastern. We have to call out anything that erodes international law or is a double standard. But you're right. The good news, di ba, Justice? At least we are a middle power. Hindi tayo pitsugin na bansa. We have an
Mm, mm.
agency. We have strategic agency and we have to work with other middle powers to put this together. Napansin ko, Justice, nung minention ko yung West Philippines Sea and Sara, West Philippines Sea, biglang nagkaroon ka ng second wind. Ah. Kanina medyo naiinis ka na yata sa ombudsman discussion natin. Pero nung sinabing West Philippines Sea, oh, bakit? Ano yun? Sabi ko nga, si Sara gawin na lang Department of Tourism Secretary, no? Friends to all, enemy to none. Kasi kung tourism, dapat ganun ka, di ba? Chinese tourists, Russian tourists, American tourists. Pero hindi pwede sa national security matters yan. You cannot be friends with those who act like enemy, right? So that's why it's very important. I am for neutrality on certain issue, but principled neutrality, meaning in accordance to international law. Hindi lang
Yeah.
neutrality based on opportunism. Ayoko rin yan. So I think that's why it's very important. Thank you so much, Justice Carpio. I know mukhang lahat tayo under the weather, pero dahil sa ating pagmamahal sa bansa, we always make this effort. Mabuhay ka, Justice Carpio, and hope to see you soon in person. Na-miss ka namin, Justice. God bless.
Thank you,
Magpahinga
Richard.
na kayo.
Thank you to our
Ah,
viewers.
mas maganda tong camera mo, Justice. Mas rosy cheek.
Alive.
Exactly, mas
Okay.
rosy cheek. Oh, salamat. God bless mo. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.